We observed the amateur division tackle a series of challenges, from hunt tests to field trials, culminating in the thrilling Hunt Savvy finale to witness the Super Six and crown a champion. Handlers must maintain focus as they navigate through the stiff competition. Welcome to the 2023 Super Retriever Series Crown Championship presented by Eukanuba. Hello everyone, I'm your host David Hamilton alongside our analyst and longtime SRS competitor Rody Best. And Rody, I'm excited to be with you today because today we crown an amateur champion.
Yeah, it's great to be back and I'm really excited to see who the champion is.
All right, we are here in Shreveport, Bossier City, Louisiana, and they've been great hosts to us all week. Our competition has been taking place here. The Shreveport Bossier Sports Commission and the cities of Shreveport and Bossier City have been great hosts to our handlers, our crew, our competitors, our fans, and their families.
Yeah, they really rolled out the red carpet for us at the Big Hats and Bow Tie event. That was a really neat event at Margaritaville.
I know that's one that everybody looks forward to every year. And then after that, we got into a full week of competition. We've been through 4 series. We sit here now with our Super Six, our 6 finalists, heading into Series 5. And I don't know if you're excited, but I am. We're gonna name a crown champion here in a couple minutes.
Yeah, the dog and handler teams have finally reached the summit.
Let's talk about Series 5. What is this test, and what are our dog and handler teams gonna have to navigate today if they wanna be the 2023 crown champion?
Well, we've seen a lot of different setups, and this time we're gonna see which dog has the best hunt savvy.
In this test, the judges will be marking these competitors, giving them faults or points for missteps along the way. So what are they looking for when they're judging these teams?
Basically, what the handler doesn't want to do is have the handle on a mark. That's a big penalty score of 20 points. Minor faults, 2 points, 5 points, things like whistles, cast refusals, whistle refusals, but you really want to watch out for that handle on a mark. It'll cost you.
All right, well, without further ado, let's look at the Series 5 here. Give us a quick description of this test.
The 5th series of the 2023 SRS Crown Championship is a hunt savvy hunt test scenario, complete with decoys, lots of marks, a poison bird, several Bubba Gunners sitting in a Thor boat. There is everything you could possibly expect in a hunting scenario right here. They start by blowing a duck call. Both Bubba Gunners and the handler blow a duck call for 10 seconds. Dog is in the hut, waiting patiently, but wait, the birds are flaring, so the Bubba Gunners ask the handler to go place a decoy out there that has been flaring the birds. The dog must stay in the hut while the handler does this. Once the decoy has been placed on the stake, the test will start. And bird 1 is going to get shot because the birds have now started to come in with the decoys being in a better position. Bubba Gunners will shoot bird 1, and now the handler can approach the mat and sit down with their dog and load their gun as the rest of the test commences. You see there, mark 1 is at 55 yards. Once the handler is ready, they will shoot bird 2. They will shoot bird 3 along with the Bubba Gunners, and the dog must mark the birds from that hut and stay in the hut the entire time. Mark 4 comes out, the handler will not shoot that bird, and then the final mark, number 5, comes out and the handler shoots that bird. So here's an overview of those marks being thrown. Mark 2 on the left is thrown at 81 yards and it's a mallard. Mark 3 is the poison bird. This is a bird you do not want to pick up. It's 104 yards thrown, and you're going to see why that's important here in just a second. Mark 4 is the next bird thrown, and it comes from way over here on the right, and this is 79 yards away. Became a difficult bird to see. And mark 5 comes out from the right at 116 yards. The handler and dog can pick up 1 mark, but they must then run a blind before pick up the remaining marks. And they've got to go through those 2 goose decoys and get in the water, and it was very hard to finish.
A whole lot there for these dog and handler teams to remember. We'll see which one does the best job. We enter today with the Super Six, and at the end, we will crown a champion. Let's take a look.
The road to the Super Six of the SRS Crown Championship was definitely a challenging one, but the final Hunt Savvy series would be one to write home about. Up to the line first, Brian Broussard and Huck. Being first to the line and with the mistake of not having a bird in play, this test would be called as a no-go, and Brian and Huck would step back to run again. Mike Gibson, a 5-time Crown champion, partners with Blaze, a 4-year-old. Blaze heads towards the blind retrieve in the disciplined pace, confidently passing the poison bird and successfully completing the blind retrieve. Mike, with his background as a pitcher, brings a strong sports foundation to the table, and his ability to maintain composure proves invaluable. With Mike's composure and Blaze's strength in marking, they effortlessly pick up the birds. Coming to the line in the fourth position, Ernie D'Antoni, accompanied by teammate Waylon. To avoid penalties, Ernie keeps a watchful eye on Waylon as he adjusts the decoys. The Hunt Savvy test is just that, Hunt Savvy. Waylon skillfully divides the decoys on the levee, a corridor, and a crucial step to avoid penalties as he makes his way to the blind. Waylon succeeds and efficiently retrieves all the marks. Jason Flasterer presents Cash, a two-time Crown qualifier, at the line. Jason carefully shoots all the marks while Cash remains attentive in the dog blind. A slight pop on the first mark might cost this team, but a swift handling off the poison bird provides Cash with a clear direction toward the blind. Jason takes his time to position Cash for the remaining marks. Recognizing Cash's exceptional intelligence and ability to navigate challenges, Cash adeptly retrieves the birds. John Lamar and Smokey are familiar faces in the Super Retriever Series Crown. They embody a complete team package as John provides a safety whistle on the poison bird on the way to the blind. Despite encountering challenges on each of the marks and accruing faults, this Eukanuba Team of the Year has consistently proven its worth. Stewart and Tex are at the forefront of the Super Six, boasting an 18-point lead to maintain their position. However, Tex's failure to retrieve the bird Stewart expected resulted in an immediate penalty for handling to the area and putting significant pressure on their lead. With Stewart accruing handling faults on 3 of the 4 marks, the likelihood of retaining the lead appears uncertain. Last to the line and back again, Brian Broussard and Huck. Having scored partially on their initial attempt, Huck will only be scored on the final marks in play. The question remains, will this be sufficient enough to propel them into first place?
When we come back, we'll meet this year's Crown Champion. The Super Retriever Series Crown Championship is presented by Eukanuba, fueling canine athletes for over 50 years. Shreveport Bossier Sports Commission, visit Shreveport Bossier. And Louisiana Tourism, explore Louisiana. Welcome back to the 2023 Super Retriever Series Crown Championship presented by Eukanuba. It's all come to this moment, and Rhodey, we are now going to unveil this year's Crown Champion. I don't know about you, but I'm very excited.
I'm ready.
All righty, well, let's look at our final leaderboard and name this year's Crown Champion. Mike Gibson and Blaze are your 2023 Amateur Division Crown Champions. Ernie D'Antoni and Waylon come in second. Stuart Williams and Tex in third. Jason Flaster and Cash in fourth. Smokey and John Lamar in fifth, and Brian Broussard and Huck in sixth. We want to commend all of them for their great performances this week, but without further ado, we want to celebrate this year's Crown Champion, Mike Gibson and his dog Blaze, and Mike joins us here on the set now. So Mike, first, man, just congrats, a great job winning the crown this year.
Thank you, gentlemen. Thank you for having me here. It was quite a grind.
At one point, you were in 10th place and made a jump to 5th, and then made a jump from 5th to 1st. So when did you really feel like the week was turning and maybe it was going to be a chance for you to win the Crown Championship?
Well, I think in that 4th series, in the semifinal series, when we came in with a 27, made a big jump there, and was waiting all week for it to happen, for Blaze to have an A-plus run, and it finally started to happen. We hung around close enough to give ourselves a chance, and it finally started happening in that 4th series.
Now, you are now a 5-time winner, so you're you're no stranger to winning at the Crown, but Blaze is a younger dog, only 4 years old. So how did you prepare him for this competition and make sure that, you know, he was on his game coming into this week in Shreveport-Bossier City?
Well, I knew that Blaze had the talent to have a chance. I mean, but I trained just like I always train. We trained to prepare to win a big event like that, and it doesn't always go as planned, but our training was the same whether he was an 8-year-old seasoned dog or a 4-year-old dog inexperienced. He just simply had no idea what we were in for, but I did, you know, and luckily he pulled through in the end.
We just watched Series 5 there, and that was a heck of a test. But you said when you're in the holding blind there, you looked down at him and you said, buddy, you don't even know what you're about to get into. And what was his response?
Well, you know, I told him, I said, listen, we need to pick up all these birds clean to have any kind of chance whatsoever. And he looked up at me and winked. Honest to goodness, he looked up at me and winked, just so calm and, you know, casual, and winked. And I chuckled on the inside, you know, and said to myself, buddy, you have no idea what we're in for.
5th time winning never gets old. This is actually your 5th time winning with 4 different dogs. So why do you think you've had so much success at the Super Retriever Series?
Well, you know, first of all, really the Lord has blessed me to have some good animals, and we work really hard at it. And everybody at this stage, they work just as hard as I do. There's just sometimes the chips fall our way, and you know, we continue to work hard. And this is what we have in mind all year round. Every time we step out onto the training grounds, and every time we do anything, this is the end result that we have in mind as we go about it. So.
All right, well, where are we going to see you and Blaze next? What's the future hold for the two of you?
Well, you know, again, because he's young and the Lord willing, he'll stay healthy, we plan on hopefully doing this for the next several years. You know, most of the time the dogs that do well in this game are 6 to 10 years old, and so very fortunate that he's only 4 years old, and so hopefully we can play this game for a long time to come and maybe have a chance to do it again sometime.
All right, well, congrats to Mike Gibson and Blaze. Fun fact, actually, Mike is the only person ever to win with a yellow, chocolate, and black lab. So there's your SRS trivia for you. We'll be right back.
You know, Blaze is one of these dogs, and I haven't had one like that. Mine have all been fire-breathing dragons, you know, and Blaze is one of these dogs that's like an old soul in a young man's body. On one hand, it's pretty relaxing to me, and on the other hand, I never know, hey, are you taking this serious enough, you know? All my other dogs have been so intense, and he's just so laid back until you touch him off, and then he goes.
Welcome back to the 2023 Super Retriever Series Crown Championship presented by Eukanuba. Hello, everyone. Once again, I'm David Hamilton alongside our analyst, Rody Best. And down there on the end is this year's 2023 amateur champion, Mike Gibson. And over our shoulder, beautiful picture of his dog, Blaze. They are the Crown champions this year. So, Mike, I'm going to start this segment off with a really easy question for you. Who's Mike Gibson?
Well, I'm from small town Kansas, Galena, Kansas, a little population of about 3,000 people, and introduced to this game many years ago with the Great Outdoor Games, and have had a love for chasing it and trying to prepare a dog to have a chance to play in it ever since.
You're a 5-time Crown champion with 4 different dogs, including this handsome fellow over our shoulder. Blaze, tell us a little bit about this 4-year-old dog.
You know, Blaze is one of these dogs it's kind of different. He's very laid back, almost disinterested, it appears at times, in training. You know, but with the second you step to the line and the duck calls or the gun goes off, he becomes a different animal. So he's a lot of fun.
So, Mike, you and Blaze were kind of the dark horse of this competition because last year, Ron Anderson and Rip tore it up. I mean, they were really consistent, solid performer. All eyes were on them. At what point did you start to feel the pressure on you that you might have a chance?
Well, I never really felt any pressure. Ron and Rip are clearly the favorites. They're a great team, had been all year long. My expectations for Blaze coming into it was it would be a plus if we could make it to the semifinals for experience reasons to build for down the road. But once we went into that semifinal series and he threw up a 27 in that series, and it made a big jump for us, I know what he's capable of, as Habitat Flats proved out, to where, you know, we not only won, but we beat all the pros that particular weekend. I knew the ability was there. We just needed to have a chance to get there. So really it started in that 4th series to believing that we might have a chance at this.
In the 5th, you know, going up there, did you feel like y'all had a chance to really, at his young of an age, running against the more mature and experienced dogs and handler teams, did you really, how solid do you think you had a chance?
I felt like we had to have a great run, but we also had to have help from the rest of the field. Somebody had to stub their toe in front of us, and you never like to root for that. All I can control is what we do, and so I just wanted to concentrate on us putting up as good a run as we could put up, and then whatever happens, happens. But it certainly required somebody ahead of us to stub their toe a little bit to give us that chance.
In 2024, what's your training looking like for this year, trying to go back and win another Crown Championship in 2024 and maybe try to be repeat champs?
Well, training will remain the same. Obviously, we'll ratchet things up even more as he's become a more experienced dog now. He just passed the Grand recently, and so, all focus now is towards the SRS and the Crown for the remaining parts of this year. So training will not be easy. Training will always raise the bar. Every time we go out, we're raising the bar, trying to achieve, because there's still a lot of great amateur dogs out there and a lot of great amateur handlers out there. So repeating or ever having a chance to do this again is not going to be easy. There's just too many great teams.
In our open division, all of our handlers are professional dog trainers like Rody, and then, in our amateur division, they're like yourself, who have a day job and do this on the side. So if someone's watching at home and they're like, I'd like to get involved in the Super Retriever Series, what's your advice for them?
Well, you have to maximize your time. I would say 3 to 4 days per week. I have the dog with me, and we're training on our lunch hour, getting something accomplished. I'm usually out 3 to 4 days a week before I go to the office, as well as lunchtime, and then 3 or 4 evenings a week, plus hitting it hard on the weekend. So it is doable, but you really have to maximize your time and trying to get something accomplished every single training session.
We have to take a short break. When we come back, we'll have more with this year's Crown Champion, Mike Gibson. Stay with us.
It feels great to be back. I mean, when I get a 6-week-old puppy, this is what I have in mind. When we bring him home at 6 weeks old, we start preparing for this. And, so to be here at this age with him, I'm thrilled, and the Lord willing, he'll stay healthy, and we'll have many more chances to be in this boat again.
The Super Retriever Series Crown Championship is presented by Eukanuba, fueling canine athletes for over 50 years, Thor Boats, Lucky Duck Kennels, Splash Super Pools, and the United Kennel Club. Welcome back to the 2023 Super Retriever Series Crown Championship presented by Eukanuba. David Hamilton and Rody Best alongside our 2023 amateur champion, Mike Gibson.
So, Mike, let me ask you a question. So, in the 4 series, you made a significant move up and scored a really nice low score, a 27, I believe. How do you feel that happened? I mean, let's describe that and how you went through that.
Well, in that 4th series, there's a big white coat set up, and typically long is his strength versus the shorter hunt test stuff. So I felt like, we had to have we were due for a really good series. And he picked up the first 2 marks, just practically stepped on them. And then that long bird across the pond, he didn't actually cut across the pond as much, but he just put up a small hunt, got out there and picked it up real quick like. So at that point, I felt like, we were going to have a chance to maybe make some kind of move, because that was not an easy test.
Now, you came into the final series in 5th place, and here in the Super Retriever Series, we run in reverse order, so 6th, 5th, 4th, et cetera, on down the line. But Brian Broussard, who's in 6th, had a no bird, and the rules say he moves to the back of the line. So in essence, you become the first to run the test. You haven't seen anybody else be able to run the test yet, so how did that change your mentality going into that final series?
Well, I don't know, David, that it changed my mentality, because I felt all along, given that we were, 40, 50 points behind the leader, that we had to pick up all the birds clean. We had to have a good blind, and we couldn't handle on any marks. If we had to handle on any marks, we was going to have no chance whatsoever to win. So we really took my time, made sure that he was lined up right, and really was indicating that he knew where he was going before I touched him off.
Obviously, you don't know the scores till the end, but after your run and you're watching the other 5 competitors compete, how did you feel when they were about to announce the final standings? Did you think you had a chance to win?
I felt I had a chance to be in the top 2 for sure, because other people had troubles and had to handle on 1 or more birds in that series, and we didn't have to, and instantly that's going to make you up at least 22 points each time they had to handle. So I felt like we did have a chance, but I really wasn't sure until they announced it, to be honest with you.
Speaking to yourself and other people who have won multiple times, you say everyone's different for a reason. So what's special about this Crown Championship for you?
They're all very special. I mean, everybody puts so much work into trying to have a chance to have success at this championship level. But for me, it was just Blaze being young, very inexperienced, you know, what the future might hold.
I mean, you had John Lamar in the finals. You had Ernie D'Antoni. You're comfortable being in the finals and on stage and winning. Was the focus really on you, or do you think these other guys, like especially John Lamar and Smokey, with their consistency over the past few years, did you feel like anybody thought you had a chance?
I don't think that probably anybody thought we had a chance until after our run, and then maybe after our run, maybe some people started thinking, uh-oh,
Here you come.
you know, here we come.
We'll never count out Mike Gibson. He is now a 5-time crown champion in the amateur division. And next week, we'll start it all over again with the open division. For Mike Gibson, Rody Best, I'm David Hamilton. Thanks for tuning in.